Welcome back to another wonderful day at the gruesome garage here. As you can see, we got the Jeep turned around and it's time to work on the back now. We have cut out our new fender whatever, quarter panel in the back. We got to gut all this crap out of the inside, and this is where a piece of 1 3/4 will sit and line that out nicely. So we got to do the same on the other side. We took the fuel cell out, pumped all the fuel out into Jeff's Jeep. Kind of boring, so we didn't show it. And Jeff's playing with these boxes over here, and we're gonna get to work hacking this Jeep apart. Typical. So I don't know if you guys can really see this, but we traced out where our pipe is gonna sit. It was hard to film, so we didn't. We both needed to hold this pipe, so we held it up there, traced it out, and now we're gonna cut it out. So I'm just gonna cut it a little light, and then we'll clean it up after. We'll just put the pipe up, keep fitting it in, and keep trimming a little bit. Now it's time to rip this rear axle out. So we cut both our fender wells, and as you can see here, we never did the frame stiffeners in the back. I never really got around to it at the time. The only ones available were flat plates, which I really don't like. I prefer a piece of channel that goes under and on the side of the frame. So now they have those available. I purchased a set. I think it's dirt bound or something. I'll show you when I open them up. But now we got this thing inside, turned around. Got to rip this bad boy out. Got to take the seats out so they don't get destroyed. And we're going to keep cranking on this thing. Once we get the rear end out, get the frame stiffeners on, then it's time to cage the back. So let's get grinding. We got everything stripped off back here. Here's the new frame stiffeners. Now these are from Dirt Bound Off-Road. Get the part number there. There you go. So, get out of the way, Jeff. These are Dirt Bound's metal frame stiffeners. A little different. They're two pieces instead of one solid piece, but they're gonna work just fine. We just got to do some grinding. Got to get rid of these. That was my old shock hoops, and I don't know, I might take this off too, but we got to clean this up, and we're gonna put figure out some kind of new shackle spring hanger back here, because this one's not too happy. So, and plus we stripped out these holes a while ago, so now the bolt moves around a little bit and not too fun. So let's grind this frame down, get these stiffeners on, and figure out how we're gonna get some leaves back in here. Voila! A little bit of hacking here, as you can see. I made a mess, but most of the rust is out finally, and we just got to get these flimsy factory leaf hangers out of here. Get some new ones in there. Get our frame stiffeners on. These are Dirt Bound frame stiffeners for the rear. It's a two-piece. This goes up here. Hard with one hand, but that'll go in there. And then this other section will go right over here. I drilled out the spot welds on these seat belt tabs, whatever they are, and cut them off because I don't like them. So we're gonna get this guy on there. First we gotta clean these boys up, and then we're gonna weld them in. After really fun time, hours and hours of cleaning, welding, and fighting with old metal, we got our frame stiffeners on. So we got our shackle boxes back in, as you can see, and now it's time to finish up this cage in the back. So from here to up on the B-pillar there, main hoop, whatever you want to call it, there's going to be a bar down to the plates in the back here. These are the top of the shackle boxes, and they're also bolted to the frame. So I think it's pretty sturdy. That's where we're going to put our main hoops in the back, our C-pillar, and then keep tubing. We got our two C-pillars bent up here, and something I learned pretty early on is when you're cleaning your tubing, I clean the ends, and the ends that I was going to weld, and I weld them in, and then you realize you got to attach another tube to it, and you kind of got to visualize it and figure out where all the tubes are going to intersect, so you kind of know where to clean the tubing, because it's not fun to clean certain spots once it's tacked in. So I don't know, you can clean the whole piece. I've seen a lot of guys do that. There's tools that go on an angle grinder. It's like a belt sander, and it cleans the whole, it just rides on the pipe tube. But I think that's a little overkill. So I'm just cleaning the spots where I think bars are going to intersect, like the crossbar back here, X up on the roof. So just a little advice. As you can see, we got our C-pillars in. And we also have a crossbar in the back that's tacked in place. And you also see my tape web up here. So I've been just playing around, trying to kind of figure out where I'm going to put these braces on the ceiling. Trying to make something strong but also look decent. Not that you can really see it, but I think I got it how I want it. And then we got to make all kinds of braces on the side here. We got to make them shock mounts that'll be strong enough for a coilover or air shock one day, because eventually I'm ripping the leaves out, but I don't want to do that yet. I want to see how much flex I can get out of them. A lot of people swear by leaf springs, so we'll try it. All right, guys, we did a little piping, and we got our bars in here for the ceiling. So I really wanted these because I wanted to put a piece of tube behind the tube in the front there, and just to brace it if it got hit in the front or hit from the back, it doesn't push the whole thing. At least it's got another piece to push off of. And we threw the piece in the middle here just because I feel like it needs to be there. So I'm going to add a couple more braces in here, make some more triangles, and hopefully that's strong enough. I've never done this before, so I'm kind of just doing what I think is right, using this as a learning experience. I'm not going to race or anything like that, so just trying to learn and have fun with it. And we just got to fire some more pipes in here now. So let's notch. So this bar here is going to support, of course, the back, but also it's going to support our shocks. So the only issue right now is I can't put my back axle in, because if you see those nice original leaf spring mounts, shackle hanger, spring hanger, whatever you want to call it, they're pretty rotten, and where they were attached to the floor is no longer there, so I don't really like that at all. So what we're going to do is we ordered some Ironman off-road, Ironman Fab, I can't remember the name, but I'll show you their boxes that go to the frame, and you weld them on or bolt them on, whatever you want to do. So we're going to get those, make those work, and then we can throw the leaps in, get the back axle in, and see where our shocks are going to sit, because I want to brace from up top here to the shock and up top to the shock, just so I have a good mounting point for coilovers or whatever I plan on doing down the road. It's not going to be leaves forever, but for now, it's what we're going to do. So the other night I was working on this thing and I got pretty carried away and I didn't film anything, of course. What a surprise. So, let me show you. You saw we talked about putting these pipes in and we did it. Took a lot of trimming. As you can see, we got a nice gap there. So I think what I'm gonna do is just tack this in a bunch of spots and probably just silicone it up. I really don't think it's worth welding the whole thing through, but it is what it is. We're also gonna tie that in to our bar coming across here, just to make it nice and solid when I, you know, rub against up a tree or a couple rocks or something. At least it's got something to push off of. So we're gonna get that tied in. We got a surprise in the back. We're gonna be throwing a spare tire carrier off the back. And of course, I'll show you guys how I do that. And another great thing that we've done is hacked out those disgusting old leaf spring perches. And we got ourselves these bad boys. So these are from Iron Man, not the Australian company, the American one. They make a lot of XJ parts, and I'm pretty happy with their products. A lot of stuff is, if you're maintaining a lot of the factory mounts and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not really gonna use all these holes because, as you can see, there's not much of a floor in there. So we're gonna weld it to the frame. I'm gonna hack these up a bit, weld it to that 2x2. So tune in next week. Maybe we'll get this back axle back in. Maybe we'll take it for a ride.
I want to see this thing go for a ride.
Tune in next week.